My name is Josh Sprague from Seven Clay. I'm in Round Rock, Texas, and this is my Deco Network success story. We got into the industry out of frustration with the local shops that weren't performing to levels that we expected in terms of quality. So we decided to start with our embroidery machine first, expanded to lasers, expanded to sublimation, heat transfers, screen print, and just beyond. Yeah, so our core focus here is hats. That is something that is at the bread and butter of our business. We love to embroider them, leather, PVC, sew them, you name it. But yeah, hats are the bread and butter, and then we like to try to help to make merchandise to brand companies that is premium gear. That's really our focus. We don't focus on cheap shirts. We don't focus on cheap hats. We don't focus on cheap processes. I don't care about any of those. If you want that, go to Vistaprint or whatever, somewhere online if you want something cheap. But if you want something good, and I'm not going to say we're just expensive. It's not that. We're going to make it. I'd rather always sell you a $6 ink pen if you were in the ink pen business. I'd rather sell you a $6 ink pen than a $1 one, because no one's gonna want the $1 one. I'd rather sell you a leather koozie that's laser etched for $6 than I would a 50-cent koozie, unless you really only want to hand out a bunch of koozies in droves and hope that somehow that translates to marketing dollars that may turn into revenue. But that's the way we approach everything here. Everything is done with a purpose and representing somebody's brand as a quality item. We sell to about a 5-state area currently as a primary ad focus. It's weird because we do get work all over the country, and a lot of it's just referrals and other things, but we mostly advertise in about a 5-state region around us. And we do that again on purpose. I want to have layers in case there's the next big crisis or whatever may happen. So we have layers of all different industries that we work in, and I really can't say enough about how important I believe that is, rather than having one big account that's 80% of your business. We don't have that. Our biggest account is maybe 15% of our business, and that's maybe. I don't even know. I'd have to do the math to see. But we have a ton of accounts that are 0.25%, but they're great. I mean, they're consistent. A lot of them are consistent, whether it's a landscaping company or a contractor or a fashion brand or whatever. Everybody has kind of their own buying patterns, and we try to find those people that are really busy one time a year. You're like, okay, well, this industry is always busy this time of year. How about in the time when they're slow, who's busy? And then, so we try to kind of be strategic with some of those things. I ended up finding Deco Network through S&S, and then we tested it out as well as a few other brands, and we found the price fit us well, the functionality was what we expected, and I really like that it plugs into all the brands. I mean, we have people all the time like, why don't you have a Shopify website because everybody can code on it? I'm like, I get it, I love Shopify, but I'd have to load 10,000 items. Deco can add a new catalog in the back end, and I can download 10,000 items on my website with 4 clicks, and that's invaluable. And that's just the truth, is that having the access to all the products is awesome. To me, I think the biggest success you can ever have in a business is documented process. And Deco really does all that for us. We don't have to document. There's tons of pieces of our business that we wrote work instructions. We have wrote work instructions with how to enter a quote, because there are different ways you can do it. And it's a nice part of hiring people. You see someone do something like, well, why are you doing it like that? Well, because that's the way it seemed logical to them. So we've documented work instructions for quote entry, for order entry. And really, once we got past there, we found the production side was pretty tight. Now, like you saw, we use production status in the shop, and that was something that we went and coded, and we've changed that over time. But using the production status really helps understand where we are in every process. I can go back there right now and I can see how many jobs are queued in screen print, or how many are embroidered, or how many are in the initial processing. I mean, it's a brand new order. How many products have been ordered. That means they've been ordered, but they're not here yet. And that's pretty cool to be able to use a tool where everyone in the facility knows. Or specifically, like my remote people, they can log in at any time, and the customer calls up and say, hey, where's this job at? I can log in, I can see, oh, yeah, it's in embroidery right now. They started 3 days ago, so it should be done in whatever a day. Or they call up, hey, where's tracking? Oh yeah, here, we use ShipStation. It automatically plugs the tracking number back into ShipStation. So I can go in, I can copy that tracking, send it over to them in a minute's work. So yeah, again, having the infrastructure of Deco's back end, really front to back ends has been really critical. We were really cautious to not scale really hard in areas we weren't good at yet. We tested with customers we were good with, like, hey, just so you know, we're kind of new to this space. Can you just, if there's a problem, let us know. And but again, we study things really, really hard before we ever launch something, even to friends and family or local people we work with. So by the time we go to market, we know we're good. But the long story short of it is that now that we have, I'm not going to say perfected every area, I think we're always learning, but we're pretty good in most every department. We're at a level we can scale much larger and easier now. So now our business is at a strategy where instead of going after a lot of the $5,000 a year accounts and whatnot, not that we're running away from them, because I do always believe in supporting the small guy, we are building up our bigger accounts. And that is a major piece of our growth strategy going into the next 5 years. So I do think we'll see blips of bigger growth spikes. We'll probably have those years. You're not always going to land the big fish, right? But that's a directive that we have from internally here we're working towards. So as we're building our layer of all the smaller businesses, we are working with the bigger ones, and we hope to have these, okay, maybe one year we're going to be up 50% or 60, but another year may only be 20, and that's okay, because it's sustainable. And that's ultimately, I think, what all of us strive for, and it's how we have so far beat the odds in 2 businesses in surviving, and I hope to continue to beat them for a very long time.